somebody in the building was in the elevator when it happened, and so the elevator is like banging back. It's the building is swinging, and so they're in the elevator, and the elevator is going bang, bang, bang against the wall, and then free fell like several floors, which I don't know how that happened, but that's what the guy said happened. I'm like, if I was in that elevator, I think I might need to change of clothes. Because
absolutely,
that would have been crazy. Welcome in. We're back with another edition of Snob versus Douche. He's the snob, and I'm the douche. We're back. We're going to do another one of our quarterly 2x2 album discussions. This is where I select 2 albums, the snob selects 2 albums, and then we force each other to listen to them. We come together and discuss. We have different philosophies on that, but that's how it goes. And then at the end, we'll talk a bit about some of the first quarter highlights, maybe some lowlights, mainly coming from the snob's direction and whatever else. But how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. This quarter, it's been a bit of a struggle for me music-wise. I just feel like I went a little overboard last year and I just burnt myself out. So it was a slow start to the year. I mean, it always is slow release-wise. But
yes.
It took me a while to sort of find my bearings and find some stuff that I connected with. Stuff doesn't start coming out like at a quick pace until March. And I'm still a few weeks behind on stuff. In the end, you always find some good stuff, and I did. So, what about you?
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. I will mention, just because what the hell, there was an earthquake where I am, which I'm in.
Yep.
I'm in the city of Bangkok. I will also point out, you can skip over this. I'm going to make sure to skip over this if you don't want to hear this discussion. But yeah, as I'm recording this, it's the morning in Bangkok, and this happened yesterday afternoon at like 1:30. I was actually in this room. I'm in a like high-rise condo building, but it's not super high. I think it's 28, 29 floors, but I'm not very high up in it. But I had actually come into this room because I had to translate something. And so I was kneeling down, and then I felt like someone was like pushing me. It was like bizarre. And I had this window, all these shades were closed, and then they like slammed. It was like the wind was blowing, but it wasn't wind.
Oh.
And then I stood up, and I could just everything was like swaying back. I'm like, all right. So now I'm thinking to myself, should I leave?
Yeah.
Or what? There's not a lot of earthquakes here. So they don't build this stuff for earthquakes. And this earthquake happened 1,000 kilometers away, like 600 miles away, over 600 miles away. Anyway, so like the walls, there's places in the walls are like breaking. And this went on. It felt like a couple minutes, and then it stopped. And so then I'm like, all right, I don't know. Then 10 minutes later, there was a pretty significant aftershock. So it happened again. And so there was more break, but that was much shorter. And then I'm like, all right. So I'm like cleaning up, and then I'm thinking to myself, I probably shouldn't be in the building.
Yeah.
So then I finally decided. I grabbed a couple things. And I just went down the stairs. I didn't realize this, but the elevators weren't working anyway, so I couldn't have used the elevators. And then when I got out, everybody's out there. I'm like, how did it?
Yeah.
I guess they just have more sense. So don't in an earthquake, don't follow my example. I think you probably want to get out. I was thinking, but I'm thinking to myself, am I better off dying in my actual unit or in the stair? You know, if the building goes down, I feel like you're done. I feel like I'm toast.
Sure.
Anyway, so that was outside for like, they didn't let us back in for several hours. So we're like outside and it's hot.
Okay.
Outside, not in what I would call a safe location. I'm like, if something happens here, we're going to get crushed.
Well, yeah, you're surrounded by high rises, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And there's one next to one next to me that's taller than this one, and it's under construction. So
yeah, well,
that one was the one that I was concerned about. Like, and because it's so close, I feel like if that had gone down, it may have knocked this one over as well. Anyway, and then I was outside, and it was basically apocalyptic on the streets because I'm in central Bangkok. It's very busy. I'm not downtown or in the really crazy like financial district where I think there's way more people. But there's a major train, like commuter SkyTrain, right in front of me, and those were turned off. And so those trains are super busy in the morning and they're super busy all the time. In the evening specifically, people go home, like take it to go home. So all night there was just streams of people walking because they couldn't take the train. And that, I don't think they wouldn't pay for, a lot of people wouldn't pay for a taxi if they could even get one.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was one thing I realized is most people in the United States don't even know this happened. Like I had to call my mom. My mom is in Texas right now, and she didn't even know. She's like, she was watching the news. It wasn't on the news.
Yeah.
So
I just happened to see the story on my news feed and read through it, and I was like, oh. Right.
I was actually thinking to myself, if I was still in the United States, would I know? I suppose because I come here. I don't know. Like, would I see it on my news feed? Probably, but only because I'm interested. I read news about Thailand from time to time, even when I was in the United States. So I would probably get it.
Probably.
Anyway,
yeah. I don't.
Anyway,
it. So,
Right.
It was a national story at 11 a.m. this morning is when when I was aware of it. That's when the story was posted. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my experience with that. But everything, and if I'm being completely honest, I'm not completely comfortable. I feel like, is the integrity of this building still sound? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you probably don't see any structural damage, so you're probably fine there, right?
Well, the walls. There was breaking in parts of the walls. Interior. I don't know what this is, but.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, enough about the earthquake. I'm okay so far. This is the day after. This video won't post until maybe 5 days after. So I thought I would mention it because I did not mention it in my video that is coming immediately after the earthquake. Mm-hmm. So I thought I would mention it here. Kind of interesting. Like there's so many tall buildings here, and with like pools on the top. I don't know if you saw, where like the building's shaking so much the water from the pool is sloshing over the head.
I didn't. No, I just saw that the majority of the destruction in Bangkok was buildings that were under construction, like the one next door to you. So,
yeah, luckily that one appeared to be fine. Because, like I say, that's a really big building. Like that one's even, it's a bit taller than this one. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be, I don't know, 35 floors or something.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
We probably should just talk about music.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into our 2x2. I guess at first I'll mention these were all kind of legacy artists, like that we wound up choosing this time. I'll say from my point, well, for me, I didn't listen to the ones that I selected beforehand, and I only listened to one of these 4 at all until this week. So, in the case of a couple of them, I was kind of just saving them because I knew we were going to be doing this. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that, which is a little bit different than usual. We usually have, I guess it's unusual to have 4 what I would call legacy or long-standing artists. Anyway, the first one that I selected was from the legendary Bob Mould, his latest solo album called Here We Go Crazy, kind of another hard-hitting power pop indie rock thing. Jason Narducci, I think is how you say it, from Verbo. John Worster, who was in Superchunk for a long time, and I think is still in the Mountain Goats. What did you think of this one?
Not a big fan of the title. I think it's a little awkward, and I'm not really.
Okay, Here We Go Crazy.
Really, yeah, it's a little awkward. I don't know. It just doesn't jive with me for some reason. But that aside, I wasn't that big of a fan of the title track either. But I found myself enjoying the full album quite a bit. I'm a huge Husker Du and Bob Mould fan. And pretty high quality stuff from him this time around, I thought. Even after so many post-Husker Du solo albums, it's impressive that he can still kind of capture it and put another one out. But this one, I think one of the reasons why I enjoy it is because it I think captured the tone and sound of his first few solo records quite well. That being the solo records right after he disbanded Husker Du in the early 90s. That would be Black Sheets of Rain, Poison Years, Workbook. I mean, I love those records, and this kind of brought me back a little. But yeah, I dug this one. What'd you think?
I think it's solid. I like it as well. I feel like I maybe don't like it as much as you. I'm also a longtime fan. I think he likes me as well. Oh, just as a side note.
Great.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Smacking like on your videos? No.
Yeah. I like it fairly well. I think it's very relentless, right? It just it hits from the beginning and it just keeps going. Pace. Like it just keeps barreling forward. It's not. Yeah. I think relentless. I think it's just the way that I would say it. It just keeps hitting. Just keeps hitting hard. Yeah, I think one thing I notice, one thing that I don't like, and this is really not a negative really on the album, but more on the way that it's mastered. It is so like there's no dynamic range. It's like loud, like it's like boom, and it just go. And that I've noticed is a decision. I'm sure it's on purpose.
Yeah.
And that has been, I can even remember I can't remember which one it was, maybe Last Dog and Pony Show, like that's like mid 90s. Yeah. I remember that being the mix it's so loud, not loud. Like when I say that, people think that I mean like, it's like heavy music, but I mean loud, like there's it's compressed.
Yeah. The mix is
really compressed.
High.
And
yeah.
I'm sure that I listen to this streaming like on a CD, like a lossless stream. So it might be different if you listen to this on vinyl, but I find that to be fatiguing. I find that choice to be fatiguing to listen to the whole album. Yeah. But that's really not a knock on the actual music. Yeah. It's just more of that decision, which it's a purposeful decision to make to do that. But anyway. Do we need to create some breathing room? Carnival rides, tickets at the turnstile. After a while, we give in to the slide. Make some thunder, wait for the rising tide.
So up next, I've got my first pick, and it is another fixture of Minnesota music. Gary Louris. The album was called Dark Country, out on Sham and 30 Tigers Records. This is his third solo full length. I thought he had more because he's been around for a really long time, but this is the third solo where it's just him, full length record. And he, of course, is a longtime frontman of the band, the Jayhawks. What'd you think?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. Again, another one for a long time. I would say that I like this. I don't love it. I think there's a bunch of solid tunes on it. It's very melancholy, dark. It has a really like stripped down feel. Like I don't know if there's drums on it.
Yeah.
Like when I think about it, I don't know that there's drums, and it or percussion at all. If there is, it's pretty minimal, and it feels like it's like a home. It feels like it was recorded in a living room.
Sure.
Almost. Yeah. It has a very home recording feel. I think that like for some of the songs, I feel like I would prefer a full, like if it had a fuller sound, but that's just me. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I think that it's solid overall, but I don't know how much I'm going to come back to it.
Sure.
It didn't really grab me fully, if that makes any sense at all.
It does. Yeah, this one at first I was kind of right where you're at, but it did grow on me quite a bit. I persevered with it because I am a big fan, so I wanted to give it a fair shake, and it did grow on me quite a bit, where the songs just kind of revealed themselves to me being good. And worth my time. So yeah, a lot of well-crafted sort of Americana tinged tracks on the record. Think Harvest era Neil Young, or just like an acoustic Jayhawks, dealing with some universal topics, like wasting time on your smartphone. A lot of songs about getting older. And I think he's like 70.
I saw that he's 70 now, huh?
Yeah. He's getting up there. So yeah, I dug it. I was pretty happy with it in the end.
All right. Gary Louris. What was the name of that one again?
Dark Country.
Dark Country, and it is a dark country is a fairly apt title. All right, next, my choice is the latest, which is the 15th studio album from the Welsh rock trio, Manic Street Preachers. This album is called Critical Thinking. I call it like a fairly straightforward rock album with some 70s power pop, a little new wave, a little 90s stuff mixed in there as well, and then a lot of the usual kind of political commentary. What did you think of this? You like Manic Street Preachers, if I recall?
I do. I like them a lot. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan. I think you're actually the one that turned me on to them way back when. They're not their super early stuff. I think they had a couple albums that it came out right around maybe late 90s, early 2000s. I forget the name of them, but those are classic records. I love those so much. Yeah, I'm a big fan. This album fell a little short for me. I have been following them since the late 90s. So I have been picking up on, all their recent material. it's it still has a core of what I think makes the band great, but not a lot of standouts on the record here. Nothing like, one of my favorites was 2010's Postcards from a Young Man. I love that record a lot.
Yeah, me
and
too.
not even quite as good as their last couple either. So, a little disappointing, but, still enough there for a big fan to enjoy, I think.
Yeah, so for me, I'm also, I guess, repeating everything. I'm a longtime fan. One thing I realized anytime I've ever talked about them on here on YouTube, I get the sense that most people, like most Americans, don't like. It's a dislike. It's a strong thumbs down.
Really? Okay.
Yes. I think that's Americans don't like. Yeah, and I've seen, when I saw them the first time in Minneapolis, very few people, very few people. But anyway, sure. This is a really critically acclaimed album in the UK press. I do like it quite a bit, but not as much as that acclaim would indicate. So I think I'm fairly in agreement with you. Although I will say that in the past, Manic Street Preachers albums some of them get me right away, but some of them grow on me over time. And so maybe this one will be one that winds up, that I come back to and I like even more. Yeah. But I think solid. I agree also with what you said about there's not really anything not a lot that stands out.
Well, like on that, the songs were kind of almost anthemic, whereas this one's just a little bit more low key, I would say, or just not as upfront. It's not as obvious.
Yeah.
In the message or the vibe or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they're still around, still going at it. It's still a worthwhile. It's still a quality album, in my opinion. Right. I know a lot of people do not like, as I said, but obviously with all that I think in the UK they have a much bigger, more dedicated fan base.
Oh my God, yeah. Huge fan base over there. Yeah, whereas not many people even know who they are.
I think that's there's that too. A lot of people don't know where they are.
Yeah.
All right, so I think you're up.
Last up, my second pick is Panda Bear. Sinister Grift is the name of the album. It's out on Domino Records. Panda Bear is Noah Lennox. He is a well-known member of the band Animal Collective, and this is his 9th solo full-length. That could be wrong. I'm not actually quite sure on that.
I thought it was the 8th, but it could be the 9th. I thought it was the 8th.
Well, you know how it is. You look at a long list of records, and one is some, weird release or something that, is live songs or something. So, but 8th or 9th, what were your thoughts on this one?
So this is the one that I listened to when it came out of these 4. And I listened to quite a bit. I was going to include it in an IDP a couple different times. It wound up kicking down the road. But then when you selected it for this, I figured that was good. So I think this is really good. I think it's excellent. I think it's not the best Panda Bear album, like Panda Bear studio album, but I think it's it's in the top half is my thinking.
Sure.
And I feel like if you're someone that liked, or let's say you didn't like Panda Bear before, you're not going to like this. But if you did like Panda Bear at some point in the past, and then just kind of stopped paying attention or kind of fell off or whatever, I feel like this one is worth coming back and checking out. I think there's a lot of standouts on here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked it. I've listened to this one, I don't know, easily the most, because I was listening to it when it came out. Like, at least I probably listened to it 10 times. Yeah, that's pretty much sums up my thoughts. But I don't know what did you think of this one? Did you hate this?
I'm sorry.
Did you hate this one?
No, no, I didn't. Stylistically, I think, no surprises here if you're aware of what the more recent Animal Collective stuff sounds like, or you're aware of him. It's no surprises there. But just a continuation of Panda Bear's sort of off-kilter Brian Wilson Pet Sounds influenced indie pop. I actually love this record. Certainly, it's definitely one of my favorites from the year so far, I would say. There is something effortless and easy about it that I can't quite put my finger on yet. I think I need to spend way more time with it, but the time that I've spent so far, I've enjoyed immensely. It's a very high quality release. It's just something, I don't know, just soothing about it almost.
Yeah, I like this better than recent Animal Collective albums. I really liked the Sonic Boom Panda Bear album a lot.
Okay. Is that your favorite?
So I'm not counting that as a pure Panda Bear album. It's a different kind of thing, but
sure.
If you're asking me if I like that better than this, I'd say probably.
Okay.
I really liked that one.
I think I tried it. I
don't remember the name of it, but Panda Bear and Sonic Boom, collaboration. That was just from 2 years ago, I think.
Was it? Okay, I thought it was last year, but yeah, you'd be right. Could be right.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways,
good stuff.
Yeah. Solid record. Excellent, even possibly you could say.
Yeah.
So we both like that one. I'm getting a lot of messages because I think people are probably wondering if I'm alive. I feel like I can just let them think I'm dead. I'm in the middle of something here. I'm in the middle of something here.
I'm only working on a story I can tell to you. Gotta make it too good to fail. Don't stop and think it's his way. Gonna make it too good to fail.
All right, let's talk about some first quarter highlights and lowlights. I think you have some.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I understand you cover most everything in your IDPs, but so as far as this past quarter, just a couple disappointments in my mind. I was really looking forward to the new album by Youth Lagoon. Rarely Do I Dream is what it's called.
Okay.
Out on Fat Possum. I was hopeful that this album would continue the sort of powerful expression that I was hearing on last year's sort of critically acclaimed Heaven is a Junkyard record. But ultimately, I found this one ruined by a very specific thing, which I thought was an odd choice. But he intersperses the album with clips of old home videos, and it completely ruined the album for me. I don't want to hear kids laughing, from 1980s, like in the background. I don't care. So that's my take on that one.
So is it kind of like trying to establish some sort of an aesthetic? And it just wasn't working for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it just was not working. I get it. It's like, sad songs about your childhood, but I don't need to hear it. But anyway, the next one was another disappointment. The most recent album from Weather Station called Humanhood. out on Fat Possum as well. Couple of good tracks here, but mostly the album falls flat. I was hoping. I think she released 2 records last year, or maybe it was 1 2 years ago and 1 last year. I don't remember, but the second. And this one has a couple good songs on it, but mostly just was disappointing to me, in my opinion. And then I have a bunch of highlights that I'd like to throw out there as well.
Okay.
In addition to the 2x2, the new Jason Isbell record, Fox in the Snow is what it's called. It's out on Southeastern Records. It's him going solo acoustic, and this is his divorce record. He just got divorced from his musician wife, Amanda Shires, or ex-wife now. But don't let the subject matter distract you on this one. Really great songwriting, as always, from him. Really every song is high quality. I probably would have picked this one for one of my picks, but I just knew that you probably weren't going to be as into it. So that one was really great. I did end up listening to the Tubbs record, Cotton Crown, on Trouble in Mind. I know you're a big fan.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I passed on the debut record. I just didn't get it. The vocals turned me off for whatever reason, but this time around, I found the vocals much better. I don't know if that's confidence wise or just I noticed that there was a sort of a variance in approach to the way he was singing compared to the first one. When you listen to the first one, it's like it's all Richard Thompson. This one, I was hearing some other elements in there, which I was really digging. A lot of good songs on that. But this is one of your favorites, right? From this year so far.
Yeah, I'm a fan for sure. I know a lot. I don't know. Like, it seems like a lot of people don't. I think probably similarly to you, maybe they don't like the vocal style. Like, they can't get down with it, and so it just doesn't work for them overall, which I can understand. That's frankly, that's a lot of things. A lot of things that like people don't like the vocals. Or whatever. But yeah, no, I'm a fan.
Yep. And then another album that the singer, I forget his name, is involved with, X-Void, In Love Again on, you say it, Tapete? Is it Tapete Records?
I say Tapete, but I really don't know. It's German, so I think that it might be Tapete, but I'm almost certainly wrong. I've never heard anybody say it, so I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it. So I don't know.
So yeah, that one I really dug too. It took me a while. I had to, again, another one of those records where I had to persevere on it. It just wasn't hitting, but I gave it a few more tries and definitely dug it. I actually like last year's debut record quite a bit more, but this one is pretty strong as well. My only complaint with it is the vocal mixes, especially on the songs where they're both singing. The female lead and the guy from Tubbs are singing. I don't know what they're doing there. It just doesn't work.
That one was a couple years ago, not last year.
Okay, well, it all blends
maybe
together.
couple of years, 3.
It
might be 3 years ago.
Yeah,
definitely not last year, but yeah, maybe the year before.
Next up, the Doves, or just Doves, I guess, not the
Doves.
Constellations for the Lonely is the new album. It's out on EMI Records. Another one of those British bands I personally can't get enough of. I'm a big fan. I've been a big fan of them since their 2002 record, which is one of my favorites, probably, The Last Broadcast. This one isn't quite as great. It's by far not as good, but still really strong. Songs on it, are pretty good. A little bit more, I would say, they're just older, more mature, I would say. It's again, on that sort of Manic Street Preachers thing. It's like the songs aren't quite as anthemic and straightforward. They're a little bit more abstract, I would say, lyrically or tone wise, but still really, really good. I really dug it, that one a lot.
Yeah, that's a band that I liked early on and just kind of, felt like, I guess maybe not prioritizing keeping
Sure.
up with, I guess.
Yeah, well,
maybe,
I'm pretty sure they
because there's
broke
so much
up.
stuff.
I think they broke up in the mid-aughts and then got back together
Okay.
and released, a couple records.
I mean, there's been a
every few years.
couple
Yeah.
that I can remember very in recent years. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, good stuff from them. Lambrini Girls, another UK artist. The album is Who Let the Dogs Out on City Slang. This one came out early in the year.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like one of the first breaths of fresh air in my mind. Great option. If you want some attitude, they have it in spades there. So that one was pretty good. I dug the new Dropkick record called Primary Colors on Bobo Integral. Just more teenage fan club like indie rock stuff. Good stuff from them. The new Bonnie Prince Billy record, I feel like we needed to at least mention it, called Purple Bird, The Purple Bird, out on No Quarter Records. It's, Bonnie Prince Billy, but it's a country record. So keep that in mind. If that sounds like something you would enjoy, check it out. If it doesn't, don't.
Yeah.
I dug it quite a bit. The new Hamilton, I don't even know how to say his name, Leithauser.
I think it's Leithauser.
Leithauser. It's the lead singer of the Walkmen. He has a new solo record out that just came out, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago, called This Side of the Island, out on Glassnote record. Another high quality solo record from him. He's been turning stuff out year after year. Good stuff. Sharon Van Etten and the Attachment Theory came out with a self-titled record with her and this new band she's in, out on Jagjaguwar Records. A continuation of what you would expect from her, but this time backed up with full band. So there's a little bit, maybe the sound is a little fuller. I'm not really sure, but good stuff from her. And one I just reviewed today, a band called Horse Vision. The album is called Another Life. It's out on Inadvertent Index Records. It's a great folky but modern indie pop. They're a Swedish duo. I found myself enjoying that today. Way more instrumental than I usually go. Maybe about half the record is instrumental, but
Is instrumental.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I enjoyed that quite a bit. And that's my list. Those are the highlights so far. And I do have a couple records that I'm excited for that are coming out right at the end of the quarter here.
Okay.
That I do want to mention. Hopefully they're great. But I'm really excited for the new Dean Wareham album. Right. He has a new one out today. Of course, he is from Galaxy 500 and Luna. We're both fans. And then the third full-length record from Great Grandpa. They're a Seattle, I believe, band. Their third one is out today. I'm super excited for that. I didn't get a chance to listen to today, unfortunately, but hopefully it's good.
Yeah, I have not listened to anything from this week yet.
Yep. Well,
yeah, I actually had a few that I was going to mention, but I'm not going to because I didn't prepare at all. Just things that maybe were outside of what I normally talk about that I thought that I've been listening to, but
Yeah.
I can't even think of the names of the albums, so I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So that's the first quarter in the books. You feel like not a great quarter,
You know,
not a standout for you.
I take the blame. I take the blame. It's not them, it's me. Yeah, I was burnt out.
Things go up and down, and especially like the first quarter of a year is often slow out of the gates. So there's like say in the middle of the year, there's just more in 3 months than there is at the beginning of the year, I guess is the way I would
I'm not looking forward to September again. It's just I was too much. But yeah, I don't know. I sometimes wonder if it has something to do with the pandemic, where all of the pandemic records are now out, and now we're just forging new territory. We don't have that trauma to draw from, so things are just good. But who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll do this again, hopefully in 3 months.
Sounds good.
See how it goes.
Yep.
If we're all still standing.
Yep. Start patching those cracks in the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's freaky. All right. Well, we should probably just end it.
Yeah.